Louder with Crowder is brought to you in part by .com.
Nosotros somos Mo Club. No los mariconas. YouTube heroes. ¡Hijo de putas!
¿Dónde está?
Lo hice.
El Buvox.
No! No hay movas!
It's about to feel stupid. The story that we've been told about.
Sirve pera. La Susan Waziski.
El abogado mixto. Señora Wojcicki, ¿has visto uno antes?
No, nunca he tenido el placer de ver uno en persona.
7 duches. Chino. Gordita. Como un bebé. Vivamente te diréis sus creantes. Te rompen la mitad. Sígame. Mo Club siempre empieza que la verdad es lo mejor. Como es los lesbianes. Aún grandes chistos a mi mamá. El cacho. Yo espero el mismo es usted. Pueden eso. Una vez. ¿Por qué en el trato con la LPDC?
Nos diciendo habían clasificados a 900 organizaciones como grupos odio, la mejor oportunidad de tumbar al Mu Club como uno.
Negro, por favor. Pero no van a Mon Club. Y se trata de enacarnos. Se lo come mi arrogado chino mixto.
That's refreshing.
Tasty.
It is. It's refreshing. I switched to a different tea.
Did you really?
Yeah, this is interesting. Hey, there's a lot going on right now in the news.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with Whoopi Goldberg.
Really?
Double down got worse. I don't think she should have been fired, just to be clear. But, I'll take the win. There's what's the name of the guy in the NFL?
Brian Flores.
Okay, Gerald is going to explain that story because I don't follow sports. But we also were starting our brackets of the great dictator off between Hitler and Mao.
Really?
Hitler and Mao, and
Two
then
top contenders.
whoever wins goes against Stalin, and then Mussolini.
Oh, geez.
So, and there are some strange comparisons actually right now, parallels between Mao's rhetoric, and I should say his direct quotes, which we'll get into with Joe Biden quoting him directly, and also people who work for him, Anita Dunn, and what we're seeing today. So there's parallels between the ideas, the policies, as well as not so much a parallel as like a straight line from Mao to the current DNC.
With like an arrow.
The way the crow flies, yeah.
Just in case.
We were doing research, and I was like, oh, they don't even hide it. They literally say, I like Mao.
It's in the sources. I
know. All the references available at louderwithcrowder.com. By the way, before we move on, if we're not on YouTube, if ever you watch this, just Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern, we are always here. If we're not here on YouTube, that means we're on Rumble. That means we're on Mug Club. We do another hour of show on Mug Club. Today we have another segment. We have Stephen Knows Sports. So please, that's the best way you can support us. Also, hold on. Gerald A., how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing okay.
I'm going to file a lawsuit about your hiring practices, though, because I feel like you only interviewed me just to meet a quota.
So. Well, yeah.
We
have a certain number of Aryans.
Looking gentlemen. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we need token on. We need slack-jawed quarter Asians who
Why is he
are
slack-jawed?
zombified. Well, he's looking at his screen like, is the show started?
He's doing his job.
Lot to do over here.
And then, look, he's here. He's going to be in Denver this weekend, but I will be actually doing some live shows with him. You can go to, is it louderwithcrowder.com/tour dates?
/tour, just /tour.
/tour. Okay, that's what I thought. /tour. We will be together in Evansville, Indiana, March 26th at the Victory Theater. He'll be in Denver this weekend. Dave Landa, how are you?
Good, ahoy. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You sound a little low compared to me. Is that just me?
Everything's
Do
good.
I sound a little... Should I lean in?
No.
Well, you can.
And it is the Victory Theater. We
Victory.
accidentally wrote Victoria because it was
The theater made the mistake.
I'm Canadian.
No, it actually was
Queen
the
was on
theater.
our money.
They
Yeah.
sent it to us. It was not
Well,
on us. It's
now,
The theater sent us the wrong name of their own theater?
Listen, it was a tough Monday.
Right.
By the way, hey, just so everybody knows, we're going to be adding more dates to that calendar. We're also going to add all the dates for Dave probably in the next couple of days. But got a little cool tour with you two going around the country. I hope we send you into like a real commie, blue state and see what happens.
Right.
Yeah, just found out I needed a new furnace. So come out this weekend, please.
Dave's furnace.
By the way, before I move on, we're having a cold front moving into Texas, and there might be some ice. And this morning, Gerald comes in, and he tells me and John, a Canadian, and then, of course, Dave, a Midwesterner, he says, hey, there's going to be ice, so, we might just have to call off work.
I was 100%.
People can't drive. I thought it was a joke.
Serious.
I thought it was a funny joke. We all laughed about it. He was serious.
I still am serious. Freezing rain. You can't drive on ice well, especially in Texas.
All right, look, before I get to the question today, comment below and tell Gerald how sad that looks.
Do you remember that I lived in the Midwest?
I can't drive in freezing
years.
rain. What?
Yes, you can.
No. When the road is iced over and nobody preps the roads, you can't. The only reason you can do it in the north is because you have salt and sand trucks every 5 minutes.
Oh, my God. Where could they find salt in Texas?
We don't have them.
It's because you have salt trucks. Here you have sand like idiots.
Well, I know.
What
That's
does
what I'm
sand
saying.
do?
And then they're talking in the news about
Makes it dirty.
People in Texas get terrified. Like, when you get out this morning on the news broadcast, when you go to your car this morning, you may see something, a small film on your windshield, which is commonly referred to as frost.
Yeah.
And this can be taken care of with a solution that's 1 part vinegar, 1 part witch hazel, and 1 part eye of newt.
Yes, rush out and get bread and milk so your whole family has gas.
Well, this is like when you northerners had a heat wave of 94 degrees and people were dying. We're laughing at you like, come on, 110 is what we do.
See, now he's laughing at death.
Yeah.
No, I'm laughing
Look
at
this
you.
guy. Sorry we don't have
Not
a
death.
dry heat.
Yeah, for crying out loud. Not everyone can be from Phoenix, Mr. Perfect. All right. Speaking of perfect, everyone here knows that second to Olive Garden, I'm a Golden Corral fan.
Oh, who isn't?
And a fight broke out.
Have you ever been there?
I walked in once with my father because, it was the only type of restaurant where they decided that the real estate at the airport was most prudent. So we had to kill time.
Wheeling in then.
Yes. No. It was Walmart greeters and very cultured.
Yeah, it's an ethnic
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So we walked out. I saw the chocolate fountain and I saw a kid sticking his booger finger, and I was like, no, that's not for me. But for some people, look, they live for it. They love it. Different strokes. Also, many people at Golden Corral have strokes. Fight broke out, Golden Corral, because of a steak shortage. which was Biden refers to it, a tremendous victory. Here it is, the melee. Person throw a folding chair?
No, it's the kid's chair.
Yeah, it's the high chair.
Well, where's the kid?
Well, thank God they're out of it.
Pretty sure they shoved him out.
Get up, kid.
The prize is the worst steak you've ever had.
Right.
They're throwing silver.
It's still going.
Oh, yeah.
This is no longer about the steak.
This guy picks up the table, realizes.
Come on,
it's too
that's
heavy.
like when Black Lives Matter. It's no longer about the destruction of the nuclear family. You're just looking for an excuse to loot. At that point, someone's looking to service themselves in the sneeze shield.
Jeff Foxworthy is the spokesperson, so they could just be an episode of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Right, yes.
And you're not.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader who gets shoved out of his high chair?
I was surprised at how quick some of those people that wheeled themselves in ran out when there was a fight.
Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised. Isn't it called COVID Corral now? I didn't even know it was still Golden Corral.
Yeah, it's Golden Omicron.
Yeah, what is golden about the Corral there? The colostomy bags of
Yes.
the people that visit?
Where's Butch Cassidy and Sundance when you need him? Can't they just go out shooting?
I mean,
How many dreadlocks do you think were left on the ground?
Yeah. People are going to walk in. Some janitor, he's like, was this a Golden Corral or a WNBA game? So is this a Spirit Airlines conference? What happened?
That's the seventh fight that's broken out there over steaks.
Yeah.
So many ghetto snakes just left on the ground.
I don't know what they have Bruce Buffer there announcing.
And in this corner, we have Listeria.
No, they actually ran out of A1 because it's the only way you can eat one of their steaks. So
And ketchup.
But how does that happen when you're out of steaks and it's like, well, I guess we just have to beat the shit out of each other?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, do you think that'll make the chuck roast appear? Well, it can't hurt. Someone get my oxygen tank. Quick, nail him. I mean, what? This is why I don't. This is a sad state of affairs.
It really
And
is.
you know what? This is a problem where this wouldn't escalate if the person who probably started it, there was one instigator, got punched in the mouth initially.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. There needs to be. You need to find the leader of the pack. In this case, probably someone who's 75 years old. Take him out, and you wouldn't have that.
You can't punch a 75-year-old.
If it's another 75-year-old.
Oh, that's true. Or like
Who ate the last steak?
Yeah.
It's kind of a good thing that they did, Dave, right? Yeah. So you hate Golden Corral type places, right?
Yes.
And is it the sneeze
mean,
guard?
do I like
that's the
bad?
problem? Yeah, exactly.
Do I hate bad?
Yeah.
Well, it's not even just the bad.
I'm not a
food part.
fan of mad cow, E. coli, Listeria.
Okay.
It's just a personal
Body
preference.
odor in the room.
I was at one that ran out of chicken. There was 3 dead guys.
Yeah. And it's a sneeze shield. It's a
I
sneeze
just
guard. You
realized how
don't
bad
have to
that
test
sounded.
it.
Right, exactly. No, it does work. I did one time. I was at a Golden Corral. I kid you not. And I wanted to try
believe you.
something. Yeah. No, I grew up poor. So, yeah, Golden Corral was part of the
You grew up
menu.
making poor choices. Go on.
Right. So there was a spoon, and I was like, I haven't tried that before. I picked up the spoon.
You'd never tried a spoon before?
No, whatever what it was in. I can't remember the sauce or whatever it was. And I looked.
They weren't a
And I'm
utensil
looking. I'm
family.
staring in the eyes of the attendant who's going. And I'm like. And I go.
And then you got sick.
Put it back in, and then they had to take the whole thing out and put it up.
How do you
know any better? I was like 9 years old.
For people listening on audio, Gerald just had the story of the week. It won't make sense unless you see it. That actually happened?
Oh, it's 100% true. I didn't know any better. I was below the sneeze guard height, right? So everything was at eye level. I was like, oh, try that.
Golden Corral, or as the Chinese buffet owners call it, those cocky bastards with the A health rating.
You go home.
Yeah, when you go in, they basically go, do you want to sit a sex offender or non-sex offender?
They just have the forms to fill out to let everyone know in the smoking section. Just let them know.
I'm sorry. It's maps, please.
Hey, are you allowed to smoke in here? Yeah, no, but yeah.
Right.
Sir, we care very little about the smoking. It's really the raping and pillaging that will ensue later.
I saw a guy there who was just morbidly obese.
Well, yeah.
In just overalls like this, because that's all he could wear.
Nothing underneath it?
Nothing underneath it.
You should definitely
Just-
not be at a buffet if
But
you're morbidly
he
overweight.
put the chocolate fountain on his plate. Like it was everything. He covered everything with it.
Steak,
And then did the banjo from Deliverance play?
It was like that, though. I don't know where he is. I assume not above ground.
No.
But it is just so filled with garbage. And if you eat there, I just want you to know I think you're trash.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I'm
no, never
kidding.
mind. You're
but
right.
you
It's
are.
not a character indictment, except it absolutely is. It's a character indictment.
It's like Cece's Pizza. Like have
CC's
you-
used to be
decent.
like bad, but okay, right? Like you
yeah,
could- you
decently
could-
bad.
Now
I grew up
it's
in
horrific.
Canada. We did not have CC's.
Did you have like pizza buffets though? Right? Yeah.
No.
They
No?
changed
No, not
it.
where I grew up. No, I mean, well, Pizza Hut had the Sunday buffet.
Yeah.
They
just
changed
on
it to
Sundays.
Feces Pizza. So now it's
Now it's wildly popular.
totally
Who knew?
fair.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into.
Yeah, well, that's what Whoopi Goldberg is. It's for all the feces and giggles. Golden Corral, I like their shrimp. I like chomping on something that looks like a wrestler's ear, child.
Well, this is a good sponsorship for her. She can
The
go that
shrimp
direction.
at Golden Corral.
Is there a more terrifying phrase in the
No.
English language? Try the shrimp at Golden Corral.
Try the
Yeah.
sushi at the Golden Corral.
Listen, there's a virus out there. We all need to lock ourselves inside. I'm sorry. I've had shrimp at Golden Corral.
Fine. Yes.
You can go wherever
Yes,
you
you
want.
can. Yeah.
That's your Golden Corral.
I've also
pass.
enjoyed one or two mollusks at Bob Evans. You're certain to die soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Still
hate
alive.
that and Olive Garden.
Yeah. Well, Olive Garden is just aggressively mediocre.
It is, and they try to act like it's not. That's what bothers me.
Right. Well, they
They're
act like they're the second coming of Italian Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, it was his last miracle. Jesus made the never-ending bread bowl. Whoa.
Right. Yeah. Do you want never-ending breadsticks? And first of all, they're terrible. Which is how do you
Yeah.
do that with breadsticks?
They used to be good.
It's a skill.
Yeah. Never-ending. It's like, do I want never-ending shit? Wow. Thanks.
I don't know.
can-
Hold on. Let me think about
Wait,
that.
so when I finish this, I can get more of something that's awful?
Right.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And I pay you for it? Wow.
Do I have to finish this?
See you every day.
Oh wait, you can eat a meal and take a meal. That's a great combo. I can
Wow.
have crap at home.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
the penny dish. It's take a breadstick, leave a breadstick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can take this home when it's soggy and worse.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't wait.
Okay. Hey, by the way, before we move on, it's always interesting to me. Who do you think was worse, Hitler or Mao? We're going to do a segment on that later, but I want to see you comment now. Then comment beneath it and see if your opinion has changed. It's really actually pretty fun for us to see someone say like, "Oh, definitely Hitler worse," and then underneath it like, "I was wrong."
Wow, who knew?
There's no Hitler's chicken at Golden Corral.
No, there isn't.
General Mao's?
There's my.
I don't think
I know
It's
it's not.
served in
I'm
a tank
aware-
bread bowl.
Where
Yeah.
it's not.
Could be people or dog. We have no idea.
No, we do have an idea.
Served for dessert. Try the Tiananmen Naimo square.
Ah, no. Tasty. What's this red sauce?
They light it like Saganaki.
What's that?
Nagasaki.
Baked Alaska? No, baked dissident. Yeah, that's a wonderful.
No, Saganaki's the flaming cheese.
Oh, I was like, sorry.
That would be funny, though.
The point is this: Golden Corral is why ISIS may have a point.
That's why their lawyers are going to call us this afternoon.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Never mention our client again.
And we're going to say, well, look, the problem is that you have Golden Corral as a client.
Yeah.
That's not
You're
our
not really a respectable law firm. What are you, a slip and fall? You a slip and choke law firm? Slip and listeria law firm? You're a
Slip
food
and
poisoning
Jimmy,
law
yeah.
firm. Let's be honest
You
here.
call your clientele livestock.
Yes.
It's a corral. Do you understand what you're saying?
All right. This has been 15 minutes on Golden Corral. Let's move on here. We talked about this yesterday.
Fair point.
I've enjoyed every.
Speaking of beasts of the field, Whoopi Goldberg, we spoke of her yesterday.
Yes.
She's gotten big.
She needs a walker. Look, when you need a walker and it's not due to age, you need to
It's
make
due
some
to
changes.
Corral.
Yeah. That's why people all go in with walkers. It becomes a weapon.
It's true.
Yeah.
You
They
never
take
know.
off the little half tennis ball and there's a blade underneath it.
True.
So Whoopi Goldberg, look, she's been canceled from the viewer. She's been temporarily suspended. Now, I don't think that she should have been. We talked about yesterday just how unbelievably out of touch she was with her comments regarding the Holocaust not being about race. The phrases are coming out of my mouth that are real. These are actual things. Someone went on a nationally televised program and said the Holocaust wasn't about race. She's like, okay. Well, she went on Stephen Colbert to clear it up. One does. One does.
You want to clear the area.
If you're seeking grace from a forgiving audience who will be understanding, you go to Mr. Colbert.
You want to make sure as many people hear you as possible.
Yes, exactly. Can you get rid of the dancing needles? This is serious. I have to apologize, but not. Get rid of the dancing Pfizers. That's crazy.
We're bringing out dancing ascetics.
Yes.
But it's not about race. Nope.
She tried to clear up her comments on Stephen Colbert, but she ended up making it, I don't want to say significantly worse, so I'll go with much.
Have you come to understand that the Nazis saw it as race?
Well,
because they might, asking the Nazis, they would say, yes, it's a racial issue.
Well, see, this is what's interesting to me, because the Nazis lied. It wasn't. They had issues with ethnicity. Not with race, because most of the Nazis were white people, and most of the people they were attacking were white people. So to me, I'm thinking, how can you say it's about race if you are fighting each other? So
namely, they said it's about race.
It all really began because I said, how will we explain to children what happened in Nazi Germany? This wasn't racial. This was about white on white. And everybody said, no, it was racial. And so that's what this all came from. So once again, don't write me anymore. I know how you feel.
I can't read.
Okay, I already know. I get it. And I'm going to take your word for it.
Yeah, can someone get her a nice pop-out book?
Does Whoopi come on after Kenan Thompson?
Yeah. What's up with that? What's up?
Jason Sudeikis is the running man behind it.
Did she seriously end on "I'll take your word for it"?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe take the 6 million, 6 million lives for it.
Can somebody get this woman a briefer? It would be like this. It would be just like a couple of here. Whoopi, read this.
It should just read Holocaust was racist, and she'd be like, now I know.
Hitler.
But does she not understand that anti-Semitism is racism?
Well, I also don't understand. Look, maybe you guys can comment, because ethnic cleansing, the idea, it's not about race. It's about ethnicity. I mean, if you're killing someone based on it, isn't that? I mean, I certainly think it's more racist than, for example, like saying blue lives also matter. I certainly think that ethnic cleansing, 6 million people because of their ethnicity, is more race. I don't know. Maybe, this could be the point where I'm just, in my early 30s, I'm out of touch.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what do you need, a reporter? Stick a microphone in Hitler's face? Is like, so is this about race? Yeah.
Why do people keep asking me this? I don't know how. Look, let me spell it out for you, Whoopi. This is racism.
I'm sure. Whatever. I'll just get in trouble. If you're gonna say white on white crime, as she put it, is the problem, should we just handle that then with all communities?
Yeah, because she's trying to say, how do we tell our kids about what happened in the Holocaust? Right, white on white, and I'm like, I think you're missing the point.
Well, she's also culturally appropriated their name.
Well, that's true.
Well, they are white, but it doesn't mean it's not racism.
Yeah.
That's a part too.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend last night who's Jewish.
Right.
Her name's not Goldberg. She took the name
She
Goldberg
went the opposite.
to succeed in Hollywood.
Right.
Wow.
It's kind of...
Is there anti-Semitism coming from Whoopi?
Oh, no, my name's Smith. Goldberg. Goldbergstein. What do you... All right, Berg.
You know what? I want gold and the Berg.
Yeah.
I'll take both.
Because I'm golden and I'm ethnic.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, too, that is important.
Whoopi.
I don't think she should have been suspended for 2 weeks. I think she has an opinion. I think she's wrong. I think people have the right to be wrong.
Exactly.
That being said, do you think that Stephen Colbert would have had that same grace for any kind of a conservative guest? Do you think Whoopi Goldberg would have? I mean, you're talking about Whoopi Goldberg, who went after Ben Carson for effectively being an Uncle Tom because he was employed by Donald Trump, who Whoopi Goldberg assumed was racist, when she said something that was blatantly, I don't want to say racist. I don't think that Whoopi Goldberg has hatred in her heart for Jews. Okay, I want to be clear about this. I don't think that she has disdain for Jews. But I think she's certainly more insensitive. If you're going to tell people to check their white privilege because they don't believe that there is systemic racism at universities today or at a government level, if you're going to tell white people that they are racist, if they make that statement, then you would absolutely have to apply it here as far as Whoopi Goldberg being privileged and ignorant in not understanding that 6 million people were killed because of their race or ethnicity.
Yeah, that's black privilege is basically saying that you're the only person that can be discriminated against and have racism against the United States.
They also were killed by Hitler. It's like, what are you not understanding? I would kill you too.
They really hated that Jesse Owens came in and actually cleaned their clock.
Right.
Hitler was like,
by the way, you mean
place?
Karen Elaine Johnson is ignorant of 6 million Jews.
That's her name?
Karen Elaine Johnson?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She took on the name Whoopi Goldberg. It's not anywhere near her real name.
Oh, my gosh.
Karen
To
Johnson.
succeed in Hollywood.
Whoopi.
Why did you pick Whoopi Goldberg? Well, I picked the first name because I like to make whoopee.
And
just ask Rodman. I picked the second one because I want people to read my resume and give me a job and then be surprised when I walk in the door, see the smile on their faces. It's crazy.
Because whenever I would get up to do stand-up, people would go, oh, Whoopi.
More of a one-woman show.
Yeah.
I come out of my turtleneck, say, I am born and shit. It's really introspective, esoteric, you know.
By the way, you know those applause signs were like flashing like on a blink, right? Just to make sure people did
Yeah, and
something.
half
It
the
was
Jewish
dead
audience is like...
almost nobody said
Just
a word.
imagine Donald Trump Jr. Imagine anyone in this room. Imagine Nick DiPaolo. Imagine, take your pick here. Imagine Jenna Ellis going on Stephen Colbert and making that justification and Stephen Colbert not turning to try and get some clapter.
But
This is the
imagine
issue.
David Letterman, how hard he would have gone into Bill O'Reilly.
Right.
But but appropriately.
Yeah.
Can we rephrase
No, he
that?
did.
Yeah, and he did when, but he still had him on as a guest and considered him a friend.
I didn't know that they considered each other friends.
Well, maybe not a friend, but he definitely considered him, a guest.
Right. Okay. Well, there's that. So she was suspended from The View for 2
stand
weeks.
corrected.
This is ABC News President Kim Godwin said, effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Yeah, that always works with adults.
It does.
You go sit in the corner.
Yeah.
I can't fit.
She needs 2 minutes and a Google search. That's all she needs to learn that
She's in New York. There's the Holocaust Museum right there.
Go talk to some and tell them it wasn't about race and see what they say.
Isn't there a diary she can pick up or something?
I mean,
Yeah, there's a few movies you could watch about it, maybe on a loop.
Yeah. She probably watches Schindler's List like, I could have done so much more. You did enough, child.
That's all right.
Get over it.
You had a list.
oh my gosh.
I'm going to watch The Color Purple with me.
Well, there's real racism. All right. This is another story, speaking of racism right now. And
Yeah.
This is just amazing how much the left is tipping their hand.
Shouldn't be suspended. I do want to agree with you on that because I think the problem, though, I do want to say with cancel culture is that that whole show, and it is karma, is based on canceling everyone.
Oh, yeah.
She is getting a taste of her own medicine, but I do feel that if we side with it, we're just being as bad as
I agree.
Is there a diabetes medicine? What is it that she does the drug ads for? Are they going to drop her? The one where she's like doing Tai Chi and stuff?
Isn't she?
Oh yeah.
Well, isn't she? But what's the word?
She's sick.
No, I dyslexic.
Oh. Well, I don't think you
don't
take
know.
medicine for that.
Yeah, no, I think dyslexic is when you think that the Holocaust wasn't about.
Yeah, I
race.
think that's
That's a new definition for dyslexia.
Anyway,
That's-
go on with yourself.
I read it like Holocaust, like it was free.
Yeah. Like the cost was hollow.
You know, I didn't know. I thought Hollow Man, and I thought I saw Kevin Bacon's penis in that film.
Yeah,
I got distracted.
It looked good. I want to taste it. Does it taste like bacon? His name's Bacon.
6 degrees, child. All right, now we're going to talk about what's going on in the NFL, another racist story, before we get to Hitler Mao. But I don't know a whole lot about the NFL, so this is time for Gerald Actually Knows Sports. All right, so the only thing I know about the Miami Dolphins is Dan Marino, and that's because I watched Ace Ventura.
There you go.
So tell
Laces
me,
out.
what is going on? There's this guy, Brian Flores.
Yeah, head coach Brian Flores has filed a class action lawsuit. He purports to represent 40 other individuals, and he's saying that the NFL's hiring practices for black coaches were racist. So let me just give you just a little information about this. He's suing 3 teams right now. He's fired by the Miami Dolphins after 3 seasons.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At a certain point, I don't have any shits left to give. I mean, the NFL.
Well, yeah.
You're talking about the significant portion, I think the majority of NFL players, but now they're saying, yeah, but not enough coaches.
Well,
All right, okay.
here's the thing. It's like coaches and people in the front office, and it's like, well, we got a lot of assistant coaches.
Sure.
Not enough, blah, blah, blah. All right, so 3 teams that are being sued, the Dolphins, Broncos, and Giants. And let's just keep in mind that one of the reasons that he was fired is because in 3 seasons, he went 24-25 with the Miami Dolphins. So 24-25. Now, I know like you may think this is like baseball, and he can turn it around at the end of the year with 170-something games.
I didn't think that, but sure.
That's not true. I know it's like 150. But anyway, that's really bad. He was paid $3 million a year to achieve
$3 million
mediocrity.
Okay.
Yes. So this is almost like Colin Kaepernick getting paid to
Yeah,
suck
it's just like
quite a
Roots.
bit. Right. So, according to what is out right now, he's alleging the Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross,
12 years a coach,
incentivized him, I'm just going to keep going, to tank in 2019 by offering $100,000 per loss. Now, that's pretty interesting because that would just increase the position of your draft. So if you lose the most games, like Detroit, Dave, you guys are familiar with number 1 picks. You guys get to pick first and maybe get the best athlete. And so a lot of times it's a quarterback.
Wait, Detroit gets number 1 picks and they're still Detroit Lions?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we just don't do much
really poorly with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'd insult him back, but he's just right.
I'm right. Okay. But I want them to be better.
I know you do.
Their quarterback is going to the Super Bowl this year. He's just no longer with their team.
Yeah. I know your heart's in the right place.
So Flores says
the problem with Detroit is there's just so much ethnicity.
Right.
There's a lot of race.
So this is about race, right? So this whole lawsuit, race, right? He says that he was pressured to illegally recruit a prominent quarterback. I'm not sure how that's about race. And this is how his lawyer, Flores' lawyer, described the situation.
And litigation's not for everyone, but he stepped forward. He's been referred to as the Rosa Parks of the NFL.
By you.
And it's testament to his character. And the litigation will create change.
Really?
Can a reporter just ask? I just want one of those people at the desk, just when he goes, he's been referred to as a Rosa Parks. I want, without skipping a beat, one of those reporters to go, that's absolutely not true.
Well, first of all, she took the bus because she was making roughly $3 million a year.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You're exactly like Rosa Parks with your $3 million
with her gold-plated bus pass.
Exactly. What bus are you at the back of? Because I would like to be there too.
Oh my gosh,
it's a pretty nice bus.
The Rosa Parks of the NFL.
Well, and he's saying basically that
they would sick dogs on him if he sat in the wrong
yes,
seat.
Exactly.
So the NFL's had a problem. With
Rosa Parks had a what's it called? One of those executive boxes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, everybody, the NFL.
But you can't be in the front of the executive box. You got to be at the back with the shrimp.
Yeah, get back by the pizza.
From the Golden Corral. We had it brought in special.
Why would the fact that a white guy said that? Okay, look, I'm gonna jump back on what I said about Whoopi. That guy should lose his job.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Before you move on, let's play that clip one more time.
Yeah, let's just put it out.
Let me just see it one more time.
He had it queued up over here.
And litigation's not for everyone, but he stepped forward. He's been referred to as the Rosa Parks of the NFL.
Yeah.
And it's testament
they
to
just
his character.
nodded.
Yep.
Yeah, they just nod like yes.
Will create change.
Yes, that's the chatter. Rosa Parks of the NFL.
Yeah, did you see the black guy? He didn't move at all. The white guy's like, yeah, that must be right.
Yeah.
The black guy's like, what?
What'd you just say?
Black guy's like, I'm about to be Rosa Parks and get up off this chair, beat your ass. Like, seriously.
He's been referred to the Frederick Douglass of the NFL.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Because you're totally. He basically is saying like it's an NFL plantation. Again, they're using this plantation word, making millions of dollars a year. I'm like, okay, all right.
Well,
again,
Barry Bonds
you're
was
very
the
much
Harriet
impressed.
Tubman of
Yes.
Major League Baseball.
Well, yeah, again, would have nothing to do with Rosa Parks.
Yes, because Rosa Parks too was on a plantation.
Yeah.
On that bus, the name of the bus was Plantation.
As we know, the Alabama bus boycott.
Yes.
Filled with slaves.
Yes.
So it also alleges that the Giants only interviewed him to satisfy what's called the Rooney Rule after Steelers owner, because there was racism in hiring, right? They were like, we're not going to put a black guy in charge. But guess who the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers is right now? Mike Tomlin, who is black. And they say
didn't change his name to Goldberg.
Millie's brother
or Whoopi.
Black.
Yeah. So they say there's only an interview quota, not a hiring quota, and he's saying, it was just a sham interview. Well, you interview 5 or 6 candidates a lot of times, and of course some are more popular than others, but you had a 24-25 record.
No, but here's the problem. Someone who doesn't follow sports, they have an interview quota, meaning you have to meet with a certain amount of black people.
Right.
Okay.
Which
then
is
you
stupid.
can't be mad if they met with you for an interview with no intention of hiring you.
Right.
That's the whole point. That's what's silly about quotas. If you are not qualified, or if you have a losing record, and they go, all right, well, we need it. Well, we got to meet with some black guys.
Exactly.
I don't know. Bring them in. Again, it's the same issue with affirmative action in colleges.
Yeah.
When people go, for the rest of my life, I have to deal with people looking at me like, did he really deserve to be at that university? Well, exactly. That's the problem. That's why it's a problem. It should be merit-based. There should be no quotas whatsoever. I understand back in the day.
Right.
But let's not act like the NFL today is a bastion of white conservatives.
Well, and if you're a good head coach, look at all of the head coaches that lose their job every single year. There's usually several positions open.
Jim
maybe
Caldwell
5,
at the
6.
Detroit Lions was a great head coach. He lost his job.
Oh, yeah, you definitely. So you're telling me right now, and there may be, fine, maybe there's a couple of racist owners out there. Fine, I'll give you that. I have no idea. You're telling me that they are willing to take a chance on black players coming to their team to help them win, But so the racism stops at players. But the guy who's most directly responsible for making sure the team wins, they're like, well, that's where I draw the line.
Well,
I don't
really
want to win that
chance on black players. That's not really a roll of the dice.
No, but like you're saying, they're
only
racist.
hurt.
You're saying they're racist owners.
They're
only okay
if you're at the
kind of a
$10 million a year.
Yeah. If you're at the player roulette table, you bet on black always. Bet on black.
It's because it's all black with one red.
Right.
Yeah, that's Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, that's Mike. Yeah. He
also,
looks
this
real
is
white.
kind of funny. This is the first page of the lawsuit, and they say, as this class action complaint is filed on the first day of Black History Month, we honor the brave leaders. Like they bring Dr. Martin Luther King in here. They have a quote. It's also kind of funny on the first page. Bill Belichick. Sorry,
well, a lot of people don't know his. I have a dream to coach arena football.
Oh yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's the end of the season.
Right. He gets fired, and he's alleging that his hiring isn't. He's not going to get hired somewhere because he's window dressing to meet.
Well,
this
also,
quota.
yeah, exactly.
All
It's
right, fine.
24-25. Yeah, you're right. They weren't taking you seriously.
Yeah. Nobody will be taking you seriously anymore.
That'd be like Mike Tyson saying, "I am ferocious. My defense is impenetrable." If he had lost 25 fights,
right? But I won 24.
I don't think that these people are not intimidated by me because I am a black man. No, it's because you've lost 25 fights. Well, that might play a factor, but I think ethnicity as well.
50% of the time, I win 100% of the time.
That's right.
Hey guys, actually, I have a quote from Whoopi Goldberg. Apparently, this also is not about race. So
it's about ethnicity, Chad.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about race. It's just black on black hate crime in the NFL.
When someone excuses something with a synonym for the thing they said that was wrong,
Look, if anything else comes out about this, we'll reassess later.
It's not
But right
sexist
now,
because she's a woman, because we're talking about a lady, not a woman.
The problem.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
the
different,
problem
Steven.
with professional sports is if you're hired and you're black for some reason, it's racist, and if you're not, it's racist.
Colin Kaepernick said that it was modern slavery, the combine.
Right, yeah.
Yes, but while casting a commercial of slave-looking people, so it's turning away people that didn't look slaved enough.
Because the slaves all had tattered burlap pants with Nike logos.
Yeah. The NFL is one of the
that were
best,
made by slaves.
Yes.
Yeah. The NFL is one of the best places for meritocracy in the world. And it's not just about your ability to perform on the field. It's also your ability to lead in the locker room and not be a distraction. Some teams will take more chances on people being distractions. Antonio Brown with the Bucks, obviously going off during the middle of the game and throwing his pads and running into the locker room. You missed on that one, Coach.
I don't understand the reference, but okay.
But most of the people watching do, so that's okay.
Good.
Right? But if you, like Reed, the safety who basically was, Kaepernick and Reed were the two guys that were filing suit against the NFL. Kaepernick was a terrible quarterback. Reed was actually a good safety, but he wasn't good in the locker room from what a lot of people heard. Because if you can play, if you can do it, they will give you an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
People get second chances that have criminal records that are recent. Heck, the Raiders moved to Las Vegas and killed 2 people in 2 seasons. That's terrible.
Dick Butkus. I just wanted to be included in the sports segment. All right, let's move on here to
Mike Ditka.
Yes, Mike Ditka.
The Bears. There was a hurricane.
Sting around?
Sure, this has been Gerald Knows Sports. Now, I want to get to something that is, again, really scary. You heard me talk about this with Trudeau, I think Monday, maybe it was Tuesday. And you are seeing the terrifying totalitarian, tyrannical-like statements being echoed by this administration. This is not hyperbole. So this Jen Psaki was asked about Spotify and the warnings and Joe Rogan. Let's be honest, this is not about warnings. Warnings are the first step. We saw that with YouTube, where we were getting slapped with warnings, and then we were suspended for quoting the CDC. Look behind you, there's the slippery slope. Okay, it's not a logical fallacy if it is actually taking place. Now, she was asked, the press secretary, Jen Psaki, about the warning labels on Spotify. And I also want, this is the problem. We just talked about yesterday, we had it live for Brian Stelter, or the day before, where he was complaining that people trusted Joe Rogan more than him. Look, people will trust you more if you just come out of the closet with your man bag. And they'll be like, all right, okay.
I was at the Golden
At least he was honest.
How do they not trust me?
They're out of chuck roast, you guys!
He started it. He
starts hitting someone with his purse.
The man bag.
Get the kid's chair.
Yeah, he threw all the steaks in his Louis Vuitton. And was like, they're completely out.
I can't believe it.
I don't have enough room. Get my Kate Spade from the car.
They're out of steak, the complete way that I'm not out.
So Psaki was asked about the warning labels on Spotify. And this is specific. When people say Spotify right now, warning labels on Spotify, let's be clear. They are talking about singling out Joe Rogan. Like him or hate him, if you support not only freedom of speech, but when we're talking about cancel culture, I understand that Spotify can choose to have whatever they want on their platform. Here's the issue. You are not dealing with a free market because the outrage is not coming from the market. The outrage is coming from the top down, sort of like with the NFL. The outrage is not coming from the viewers. The outrage is coming from the media executives who tell them that they need to be more woke. And in this case, with Spotify, you have members of the media colluding with members of this administration who then, when people talk about dog whistles, this isn't a dog whistle. Jen Psaki, watch her answer. She says, and I want everyone on these big tech platforms, basically saying, hey, look, you better start doing our bidding for us. And more importantly, when you see the incestuous relationship, listen to how this question is framed to Jen Psaki. It doesn't even allow for the possibility that anyone in the room may think it's troubling. Watch this entire exchange.
Spotify is putting out advisory warnings on episodes that have to do with COVID-19. Does the White House and the administration think this is a satisfactory step, or do you think that companies like Spotify should go further than just putting a label on there to
Didn't
say,
even allow the option that maybe it's wrong.
Check this out. There's more research you can look at. Scientific research regarding COVID.
Sure.
Well,
last July, you probably know, but the Surgeon General also took the unprecedented step to issue an advisory on the risk of misinformation in public health, which is a very significant step. And amid that, he talked about the role social media platforms have. So our hope is that all major tech platforms and all major news sources, for that matter, be responsible and be vigilant to ensure the American people have access to accurate information on something as significant as COVID-19. That certainly includes Spotify. So this disclaimer, it's a positive step, but we want every platform to continue doing more to call out mis and disinformation while also uplifting accurate information.
We want all of the tech platforms and media to be vigilant. If you see something, say something. Also, she says Spotify. She got that from Kamala Harris. I call it Spotify. First Asian vice president. But here's something else that's interesting there. She mentioned the Surgeon General. Yeah. Hey, do you remember early on in this pandemic, and we were actually working with Jocko Willink's show, not his show, his company, I can't remember what it was called. It might have just been called Origin. Yeah. No, it was Jocko, where they were releasing clothes and they started releasing masks. We, on this program, in April of 2022, said, look, if you're going out, if you're sick, the best way to create a mask, in 2020, actually, we're 2020. Gosh, this has been going on for 2 years. Yeah. Please just kill me. Kill me. No. Now, 2020, we said, look, if you're going to make a mask at home, here's what you want, a double ply. We said a mixed poly blend, a pillowcase. We showed people how to wear a mask if they were sick and they had to go to work. This is before we had 2 weeks to flatten the curve. At that time, it's interesting because Jen Psaki just brought up the Surgeon General. The Surgeon General of the United States, if you don't remember, and I'm sure the control room can bring this up, was tweeting, don't wear masks. They do nothing. Please, everyone stop buying masks. Yep. And now you're saying, well, the Surgeon General has issued this, and we need to trust the Surgeon General for misinformation. The Surgeon General spread misinformation. We get it now. You said, well, we lied because we needed more PPE for hospital workers, but the problem remains, we can't trust you.
You lied.
And you are saying we should be trusted, and of course, media, big tech, follow suit. Do what we ask. What if when you ask, or what if what you ask is wrong? Yeah. Like your Surgeon General saying, don't go buy masks. Like your vice president saying, I won't take the vaccine because it's been developed under Trump. So did Joe Biden. Yeah. What if it's like, hey, the vaccine allows you to go out and live your lives again because you can't transmit it? What if big tech, who you are requesting out there to follow your lead, and media, and that is the result of misinformation on Spotify, what if, by your request, they're spreading your misinformation? Yeah. Because what you are claiming today is accurate information. It's yesterday's misinformation.
Exactly. Well, I think their whole point is that it's not misinformation if it comes from us.
Right.
No matter what it is.
And you know what this brings me to? This brings me right back to what I said about Trudeau. Look, if any of your leaders, that isn't quite there yet, Jen Psaki, but Trudeau, just because, and pardon my language, if you have kids, just because he's a pussy with a capital P and a coward doesn't mean that he's not a tyrant. This is one of the scariest quotes I've ever heard a world leader, ever, in my lifetime, speak out loud.
Small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing. Do not represent the views of Canadians.
That's enough. You can stop the clip. That's enough. holding unacceptable views.
Yeah.
Anytime your leader says these people are holding unacceptable views, they got to go. They've got to go. You don't get to determine what's an acceptable view. Just like Jen Psaki doesn't get to determine what is misinformation if, in fact, hey, is she a scientist? Because that's the rebuttal we always hear. Are you a scientist?
Right.
I don't know. Is she? Because Spotify is going based on her word. When Trudeau says holding unacceptable views, that's it. You're already past the line in the Senate. That guy has to go. And a fringe minority, just to keep it clear, this Freedom Convoy, they've raised more money than the major political parties in Canada. That's how much of a fringe minority it is. And really quick, and then I want to, but let me read you, let me see if you can see some similarities here. Very similar to, let's read this Stalin quote. The press must grow day in and day out. It is our party's sharpest and most powerful weapon. Lenin said, why should freedom of speech and freedom of press be allowed? Why should a government which is doing what it believes to be right allow itself to be criticized? Talk about road to hell paved with good intentions. I want to read that part again. Why should a government, which is doing what it believes to be right, allow itself to be criticized? Here's the thing. Let's assume there's no ill intent. I'll tell you why it has to allow itself to be criticized. Because you might be wrong. And right now, you have a losing record, Psaki, in Biden administration, like that Flores guy.
Yeah, losing record.
Let's at least call it a split record.
Good comparison.
Quite a few draws.
The Dolphins.
Here's another quote from Lenin. It would not allow opposition by lethal weapons. Ideas are much more fatal things than guns. Well, we can't allow those unallowable views.
Unauthorized, unacceptable views.
Unacceptable viewpoints.
Right. I mean, you're right. That is chilling, and you need to understand that the unacceptable view, and this is where we always go wrong. It's like, well, yeah, maybe this view over here is widely unacceptable, but his unacceptable view is somebody being against a mandate, not being against a vaccine or not being against having people protected from a virus. A government mandate is the only thing. Just let us do it of our own free will that was given to us by God, because I read the country south of us says that.
Yeah,
not us.
Here's the thing, too. What is required for it to be an impermissible, or what do you say, unallowable view?
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable view.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go through this, okay? Because when people say you need to find common ground, I'm going to go through this with, all right, let's go through it with right now the vaccine, the mandates, and let's go through it with climate change, okay? So you can be pro-personally vaccine, okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm personally, let's say someone says I'm personally pro-vaccine. Okay, I'm even vaccinated, like I believe it's 80-something% of these truckers are. I'm even vaccinated. Okay, and I think that we should make it readily available for the infirm and for people who are vulnerable. Okay, and I believe that we should educate people on COVID, and I believe we should, okay, but I don't believe in mandating that everybody be required to have the vaccine. Unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's an unacceptable view. Where is the common ground? Let's go through climate change, okay? You can say, look, I believe that there is climate change. Okay. I believe that humans may be a contributing factor to it. Okay. And I believe that maybe it'll even have some negative consequences in the long term. Okay. I simply don't believe that the UN and China and the rest of these world governments getting together can do anything to solve it. Unacceptable. That makes you the fascist.
Yeah. Well, you disagree with the scientist, Stephen. Remember, that was the quote. 95% of the scientists agree.
Right, 97%.
Or was it 97?
Yeah.
But that's the problem, is especially with the Spotify thing. They can say, "Are you a scientist?" Well, the people Rogan is talking to, they are the scientists.
Yeah. One of the guys was one of the inventors of the mRNA technology.
Right. Yeah. It's an opposing view. What they're calling big tech is simply all the information that you're getting.
Right.
Yeah. That's what's so scary about it.
Yeah.
Well, and Psaki just wants to silence opposition views like that they have no idea what they're playing with. And if they do, then they are the most evil dictatorial people that we have seen in power in the United States, probably in its history. But I think they don't really understand what they are unleashing with this, because it's not the first person that does it typically that's the problem. It's the next person that comes in, or the person after that goes, the groundwork's already been laid. All I got to do is push it just a little further, and all of a sudden, you have people groups that go into concentration camps. You have people groups that are killed by the millions. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes with our comparison of Hitler and Mao.
Yep.
That's how it happens.
Were you about to say something there, Token Allen?
Yeah, I have an exciting breaking news update.
That means it's horrible and it's going to swallow my soul.
No. So you'll remember that Chris Cuomo, he was, fired from CNN.
Yeah.
There was this there was this investigation.
I think that's what you're going to say.
Jeff Zucker is out. And so what happened was he was having a relationship with Allison Gillespie, who was the EVP of marketing, and she was actually tied to giving Governor Cuomo some information, I guess, or helping with the whole Andrew Cuomo thing.
What?
He had a relationship with her, so it was actually uncovered in that investigation.
Is he married?
So they were investigating
he said,
Chris Cuomo,
right.
and then they found that Jeff Zucker was also a scumbag.
Zucker said, I was required to disclose it when it began, but I didn't.
Rules for thee and not for me, baby.
And he thought that wouldn't go anywhere. He's like, I should have, but I didn't.
And Allison Gillespie, she had a lot to lose too, because she was actually
she thought it was Jeff Zucker. It's more embarrassing for her.
She was being considered to replace him at one point in 2021.
She was right under him.
Yeah.
Literally. What?
So, here's a statement from Jeff Zucker on CNN.
right now.
You're watching this in real time. He said, yes, I acknowledge the relationship evolved in recent years. Let's bring up reliable sources.
We had 9 great
I wanted to bang him. I mean, fire him.
I'll be
what an
CEO.
unappealing mess.
Yeah.
Grateful to the thousands of incredibly talented CNN and Turner Sports employees.
Success, huh?
Who helped make this such a joy for me. And
How's he going to afford his Gomez Adams suits?
I know.
Also, they're both divorced. Zucker and
okay, all right. Well, at least it's
from Jeff Zucker a few minutes ago. A stunner for the CNN newsroom and for Turner
Well, that's
Sports.
what he did to her.
This is weird. I'm sorry.
Pulled a stunner.
Years. Now,
he's resigning over a consensual relationship that he didn't disclose.
This looks like a before
That is weird.
and after
Amidst an incredible, unprecedented ratings drop.
Yeah.
Is somebody seeing a ship sinking and go, hell, I've been sleeping with that lady. Bye, guys.
Well, I don't know. If that's the case, they better get rid of Stelter. They're going to run out of rations.
So she
I
was
just
also,
wonder if he's going to stop Daredevil.
before she was hired as the EVP of Chief Marketing, this comes from the control room. She was Andrew Cuomo's communications director.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, of course we should trust the government and those in media. They're one and the same.
Yeah.
Do people understand that? I mean, look at Stephanopoulos. You're talking about a guy who worked for the Clintons. Do you guys see this? They are one and the same, the media and government. That's the issue. And then when you have the government saying, we hope that all media and big tech platforms, this is why they're going after Rogan on Spotify. Yeah. Look, it's really easy to control the voices on CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS. It's really easy to control the voices on Colbert. You're talking about 4 major companies, and they're losing ground. And then all of a sudden, once we end up in a legal issue with whatever it is, Viacom, whoever it is, our subscribers that were going up 130,000 a month, boop, stopped.
Exactly.
And then you see, right now, I cannot get away from suggested Seth Meyers videos. I don't think anyone has ever wanted a suggested Seth Meyers video, but I do want to see what Brian Stelter is saying here.
He should have disclosed it right away. That is why he says he's resigned effective immediately. Kate, we both know Jeff Zucker has been the rock for this organization. The last few days, he has not been on the morning editorial calls. Some people even noticed and wondered if something was amiss. I don't think anybody saw this coming this morning.
He's been the hard-throbbing
But
Brock.
I think if Zucker was on that call this morning, I know what he'd say. He'd say what's important at CNN is not the person at the top.
Listen.
It's the team we all play for. It's CNN as an organization. This news operation, so much bigger than any single person.
Thicker.
And so the news goes on, but now without the top executive.
I thought he was going to be like, we are CNN and people need to trust us.
Yeah, no, he can't say that with a straight face. Well, he can't say anything with a straight face.
We are the creamy news network.
Yes.
Damn you, Dave.
I hate him. I don't even know why.
You know he's angling for that job. That's all he is.
Why?
He thought he was getting Cuomo's job. That's why he threw Cuomo under the bus, and now he thinks he's going to get Zucker's job because he's a talentless hack. Can someone out there genuinely, and you know what, you can comment below. I have not, and we have a team of researchers, I have not been able to find any reason that Brian Stelter has that job. He had some website, and he sold it, and then next thing you know, he has a show on one of the biggest news. What dirt does he have on
something?
people?
Well, Zucker's resigning, so maybe
maybe
Stelter's on the way out.
Yeah, I think
now.
we're seeing the dirt in real time.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, it's funny. At the end
Stelter
of that,
just passed over a manila envelope.
Yeah.
I hired a private investigator. Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. That's a little soggy from the steak and just dust it off.
At the end of that little bit that they were doing there, we cut away before you saw this. He actually was like, "Oh, what is this? It's my resume for president of CNN."
Yes,
it's weird.
Yes.
Oh, hang on, my wife's calling.
It's my my headshot.
Dick.
And he said, I think you'll like what's on the back. They just turn it around. It's the back of his head. So I think you'll be impressed.
This is also my money shot.
Yes.
I have a lot of pictures. They're all gross.
You can find more at Stelter Hub. All right. This brings us on while we're talking about dictators.
Can you believe that?
Stelter.
Brian Stelter was dating this lady from CNBC.
I don't believe it.
No, that's not true.
Did he wear her on his face like an actual physical beard?
To be fair, it's on the Wikipedia page.
Okay.
Yeah, they put that on there.
Like fact check.
Can I see her again?
Careful, Dave.
No, I'm just looking. He did not.
No.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Unless she hasn't been seen for a few years. He swallowed her whole.
Yeah.
That's Nicole Lapin from CNBC.
She's that's just a waste.
Yeah, that really is.
Come on with that. No, there's no way.
She's a cute gal.
There's no way. It'd be one thing, look, it'd be one thing to be overweight and clearly super straight, but it's another thing to have and also be entirely devoid of charm.
What?
Yeah.
So I don't know how he would. I don't believe it.
I found a
Maybe she's in a hole somewhere so he can make a pair of socks.
Yeah.
I mean, look, to be fair,
me back
it was
my dog.
The relationship was in 2011, so Brian Stelter was much younger. Still got that horseshoe, but
she's even pulling away there.
Yes. Yes. Get away from me, you fungus.
Yeah,
They're taking a picture, please.
Yes, please don't spoil it.
I walked in with your mouth wrapped on something last night.
Jeez. Yeah, it was Zucker.
Yeah.
And he too was none too thrilled. He was like, come on, make me VP.
You don't know where I've been.
Oh my
How
gosh.
old was he here? I'm sorry, but that is not a good-looking news anchor.
He's 18.
He must have a great personality that he hides well.
Well, none of those words
He's had
are correct.
alopecia since he was 12.
Yeah.
I think he was.
Well, it just makes sense. He's like a bulldog.
He was 26.
Was he really
Yes.
there? Wow.
That was 26-year-old Brian Stelter.
26-year-old Brian Stelter.
That's not good.
I guess the years of popping.
Who's on the left there? Chris Cornell?
Oh, gosh. Well, you know what, CNN, we hope that you get a win sometime, but don't bank on it. All right. Speaking of wins, it's time to see. Now, we're going to create these brackets and go through this over the next couple of weeks because a lot of people, y'all know about Hitler, but you don't know about the other authoritarian tyrants who have existed throughout time. So this is time now between Hitler and Mao, our first dictator off. That'll never be taken out of context. Now, let's...
Ever.
The left, of course, I know you feel like this is remedial, but the media, those in the left, people like Stelter, of course, they've always been using Hitler, and Dave made this great point yesterday, if you missed yesterday's show. It's a constant through line. Their comparison to... any white male Republican typically, but also black male Republicans and black female Republicans, they always point to them, and the comparison to Hitler is made ad nauseum.
Ruth, when some of us called Trump a fascist last year, we were told that fascists control mobs and paramilitaries, and Trump doesn't. I mean, he incited a violent mob on January the 6th.
A lot of voters didn't want to believe everything that was obvious to so many of us, that Donald Trump is a fascist. And when it comes to democracy versus fascism, I'm sorry, there are not fine people on both sides.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist.
Okay, so you get the gist here.
Yes, we get the gist.
Thank you for clarifying that, CNN.
No, can you expound?
Reporting.
Well, they seem to dislike America. Oh. Aren't they multi-millionaires?
That's irrelevant, sir.
Some of that is international touring.
Oh, if anybody wants to know why I don't like Green Day.
They're on the plantation too, Stephen.
Well, technically, I think he qualifies as a little person, so he's been oppressed.
Billy Joe Armstrong?
Yeah. Here's the other thing, though. So they always compare to Hitler, but not only is barely any attention given to these other horrible dictators who, by the way, cost many more lives. We'll get to that. Communism, socialism, they have to be careful. When you have someone in your own party like Bernie Sanders saying socialism or Elizabeth Warren saying, well, there are good elements to socialism. Not only do they not mention it, this is something that is even more concerning. You know, former both Obama and Biden advisor, I think she retired in 2021, don't quote me on it, Anita Dunn said that Mao was one of her favorite figures. And you'll also see former Vice President Joe Biden quote Mao unironically twice. So not only do they not distance themselves from it, but they just think, well, people don't really know Mao's not. You say Mao like it's a bad thing. Here you go.
And then the third lesson and tip
actually come from two of my favorite political philosophers, Mao Zedong and Mother Teresa, not often coupled with each other.
51% of the people in this country are women. As that old expression goes, women hold up half the sky. There's a saying we use in a different context, a Chinese saying. It says, women hold up half the world.
Yeah, so here's the thing. If the media's not going to fact check, like, isn't that a Mao quote?
Well, isn't that an understatement? His said in a different context. Oh, you mean like the slaughter of millions of people context? Is that the different context?
Tomato, tomato.
You undersold that, Joe.
There's an old Chinese
proverb
quote that's if you have a girl baby, you drown it.
Yeah.
No.
Because you need to have a boy baby because they're going to, they got to make the money in the killing field.
Yeah. There's too many people.
I don't know. And I don't know who Paul was. Why he had so many pots?
Oh, is anybody else going blind in their right eye?
I'm getting floaters. All right, so who was actually worse, Hitler or Mao? Now, let me be very clear. I'm not defending either.
They're both bad.
They're both bad. It's just which one is more badder.
Oh,
can we all agree, right?
Most baddest.
Oh, we're going for bad?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Detroit Lions bad.
Yes, Detroit Lions.
Hey.
And I think the next one is going to be Stalin, whoever wins this one. Okay,
Yeah.
let's
It
look at
wasn't
the
that
the
bad.
policies specifically. So Hitler, he created New Deal style policies, right? These job programs. He instituted rearmament, which was illegal at the time.
Highways.
Producing international weapons. Now, what was the impact of that? Well, Hitler actually claimed full employment. I don't know if you know this, by 1939.
Yeah.
And this is something that sometimes actual white supremacists use. They say, actually, he really helped with employment and he helped bring back the robust economy. Well, the number is misleading because that doesn't include the 1.4 million men in the army, the Jews who were basically ousted from their own jobs, and, of course, the women. The rearmament, too, this is sort of the origin, not the origin, but certainly people who bitch about the military-industrial complex. Well, what did this do? In Germany at that time, 50% increase in profits for big businesses. And again, this is the National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany. It's always ironic that in every form of socialism, communism, the big businesses, the ones with the big contracts do well, the medium, the small businesses, they suffer. And I'm going to get back to that too as well with both Hitler and Mao. Now, here's another policy that he had. The hereditary...
He did exterminate 6 million jobs and then bring them back. So it's kind of like the way Biden's brought back.
He didn't really bring them back per se.
Yeah.
He just took them and reallocated them.
Right.
Yeah, it was...
But that's kind of how Biden's done with
Well, we didn't
employment,
count
is it not?
the ethnic pool. He also had the Hereditary Farm Law of 1933. This is something that a lot of people don't really know about. What did it do? Restricted farms to not just Germans, but actually Germans could only be those who are of German blood or the same tribe. Whoever has Jewish or colored blood among his ancestors on his father's or his mother's side is not of the German or of the same tribe. So you could not own the farms. It had to be, which, as Whoopi Goldberg says, not racist.
Not racist at all. Not a racial
colored
issue.
blood? Is it purple?
It's a great movie.
So what's the impact, the pragmatic? So let's say you agree with it in theory because you're a racist. Well, agricultural prices went up about 20%. Okay, so Hitler really screwed that up as far as the farms. All right.
Worst thing he did, price of carrots.
Yeah. Couldn't find a carrot at a Golden Corral.
Have you been to the local farmer's market? Oh,
the Hitler Corral.
Where are the carrots? I don't want any popcorn shrimp. I don't want any popcorn. Okay, so
there's no steak at the third corral.
He tightly regulated small businesses. A lot of people, again, this matters because when people say, oh, it was nationalism, it wasn't socialism. No, there was a lot of nationalizing companies, a lot of nationalizing entire industries. So regulated small businesses, how did he do that? Commodity prices, he would fix those. There'd be these crazy interest rates. The wages were fixed by the government. They controlled how much was invested, distributed, produced. So 20% of small businesses closed under Hitler. Now, we're not just talking about the Jews here. I just want you to know what Hitler actually did as far as a fascist. Okay, and we'll get to all the other stuff. Let's look at Mao. He had the Great Leap Forward policies. Okay?
Terrible.
So him with agriculture, here's what he did. All the households were organized into communes. Okay? And private property markets were abolished for the greater good.
Just the greater good.
For the greater good. You'll hear this theme a lot. For the greater good. The communes directed all agriculture, local government. They managed all economic and social activity, all the resource allocation, food distribution. And then here's the thing, too. Here's the problem. Let's say that this is done with good intentions, like Jen Psaki just before, saying it would be really good, if they followed the Surgeon General's warning, Spotify, with misinformation. Okay, let's assume that your intentions are pure. Guess what? You could still be wrong. And that's the problem with consolidation of power. When people bitch about capitalism, I've always pointed this. I said, well, sure, I believe that people in positions of power can be corrupt, and you see that with executives, you see that with some companies. But there is at least some form of a self-correcting mechanism. That doesn't happen when the power is consolidated to people who are beholden to nobody. So what would happen to when it came to farming in China, because of Mao, Anita Dunn, Joe Biden, big fans.
Yeah.
They're in the Mao fan club. They have a Mao wall. They mandated practices, these bureaucrats in urban areas in China, like overseeding, over-fertilizing. And they ended up even though, let's assume they weren't evil, they were just wrong, they ended up screwing up agriculture in China. So they had this 4 pests campaign, and that was to get rid of, look, this makes sense, flies, sure, mosquitoes, sure, rats, right. Sparrows.
What? What do they have wrong with sparrows?
Well, they were stupid.
Oh, well.
So let's just say they weren't evil. We'll get to the 45 million people who died. They were stupid. So citizens were actually encouraged to bang pots and pans to prevent sparrows from landing because they believed that the sparrows were killing the crops. Again, this is the problem, or when you have some picture, China, but picture here, someone in D.C. telling someone in Indiana how to run their crops when they have no idea. And I don't mean telling them how much they can yield or fixing prices like we have here with cherries and with milk, which is absurd because we fix prices. I mean, literally telling them what standards and practices in Iowa, that they have to use for corn. Imagine Anita Dunn saying, no, this is how you're going to farm corn. That's what happened in China. And so they said, no, can't have sparrow. We'll ruin crop. So 1 billion sparrows were killed.
Wow, that's a lot.
Everyone knows 6 million Jews. You didn't know 1 billion.
You didn't know 1 billion sparrows.
Now you will.
Guys, that wasn't a race.
We told Sparrow they were just taking shower.
No.
And then what? They falsified their grain reports.
No.
There's gas coming out of that bird feeder.
That's the trick. That's not bird seed. That's Zyklon B.
Yes.
So local leaders falsified reports to meet grain quotas, and what happened? There was a 30% reduction in grain output. The lack of sparrows led to locust swarms. When was the last time you heard about a locust swarm here in the United States? I think it's Moses. It's Moses and Maoist China.
I was about to say, you've never heard of a swarm of sparrows coming as a plague in the Bible, but you have for locusts.
And then people had to resort to eating like tree bark and dirt.
Well, what about the billion sparrows? Don't they have some meat?
Well, I just think they decompose rather quickly.
Oh, well, that's probably not true as well.
That's true. You should eat the sparrow.
You would think so. It's a sparrow. It's like manna, fall from sky. You thank dear leader for bringing you manna. Be sure to boil on hot because lots of virus. Now,
you can't live off tree bark.
I don't know. Rambo did it.
Have you tried?
But he was trained to eat the kinds of things that would make a billy goat puke.
I haven't tried personally, but I have tried for people.
Yeah.
What?
It was Stelter, but he thought it was 4.
Oh, yeah.
It was a headshot. Now, what was the
Scorpion
impact of
box.
this with Mao? Okay, so again, let's road to hell paved with good intentions. Greater good. Well, the crop failure led to the worst famine in recorded history, and 45 million people died.
Right. That, just for context, that is the largest non-military killing of people in history.
Right.
By a country, okay? That would seem to be, that would be like a point in his corner in this really diabolical game of ours.
Yeah. Let's give that. That's 1 point Mao. Let's give that. That's 1 point Mao. Okay, so Mao has a point here.
The largest one in history.
When we're dealing with
I'm not sure who they passed, but it's like they run out of bad people to kill, and they're like, we like you, but we got to kill you for the record.
And here's another example. This can parallel too with today, where they're trying to force the green industry, right? Like Solyndra, they're trying to force green technology. They just had another green, an electric airplane go down in flames. There's nothing wrong with industrialization. It comes with complications. We're going from an agricultural society, right, an agrarian society, to sort of a top-down society. We had an industrial revolution here in the United States. The problem is, in China, and it was not without its problems in the United States, but in China they tried to force it. They tried to force the markets through what? The power, the coercion of government. And they were aiming to actually double steel production. Double steel production in 1 year. So what did that do? Let's say you go, well, that's a good thing. They want some more steel. Okay, 30 to 40% of the housing stock was demolished to obtain raw materials for these collective projects.
That's one way.
And again, this is all of this. So think about it. Well, hold on, but that's my house. Well, it's for the greater good. You do for your fellow citizen. Now there's 45 million less, but you do for the rest. So it's all for the collective good. It's what you should do. It's not about your rights. It's about making sure you do what's right for everybody else. Does that sound familiar?
And I think each of us, particularly in the context of a pandemic that's killing millions of people, you have got to look at it and say there comes a time when you do have to give up what you consider your individual right of making your own decision for the greater good of society.
Now, we have all references available at louderwithcrowder.com. There's a lot to dive into here, so I'm going to try and give you the cliff notes. And Gerald, you can jump in wherever you want. This is also another thing, of course, when you have communist socialist regimes. Hey, I want to know, in the United States, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles,
San Francisco,
big cities, right?
Pretty big.
This is what usually happens with mayors. They promise more public transit. They promise more social safety nets, right?
Yeah.
The left, of course, is the one that wants you to be in big cities, and they want big cities to have undue influence over the rest of the country. That's why they want to do away with the Electoral College. Well, you see this even in China. 23 million rural laborers were reallocated to cities in somewhere between like late 50s, early 60s, similar to how Biden is trying to federalize zoning laws right now, essentially create cities everywhere. Again, there are consistencies when you look at, when they say, well, no, socialism is a bad word. We mean democratic socialism. Look at the policies. You're just not at the severe point yet. I guarantee you there were people in China who thought, hey, well, this is good. The government's going to come in and help us farm. All right. Sounds nice. Hey, they want to double steel production in a year. Till you realize that your house is being torn down.
Hey, they want to help us beat a virus, and they're like, "Are they welding our door shut?"
Right. Why is it hot in here?
Yeah, weird.
Well, it's weird.
Oh, those are
Let's open a window. Where are the windows?
Why are all the sparrows dead? Oh,
it's odd. My red-breasted friend.
So let's go to the next. Nationalism. This is something to the people they dislike with Hitler. And Hitler was a nationalist socialist, but it wasn't really nationalism in the sense of borders. It was nationalism in the sense of race.
No, his border was the whole world.
Well, his border was anyone who doesn't look like you.
Well, yes. He's like, I want to own the whole world, and we want to make everybody look like me. It wasn't me, though.
We can agree he was frowned upon.
Well, yes. Look, I'll read through the first couple Hitler things for you.
Okay.
Please.
So he aimed to unite the working class for German interests, right? Sounds good on its
Aryan
surface.
interests, yeah.
Wanted Germany to be entirely self-sufficient. Wanted social order placing Aryan race at the top, and ultimately killed political dissidents who threatened German nationalism. That's the only way that you can get everybody on board.
Dissidents,
is if you just kill people,
groups, right?
Right. And Mao is, not a capitalist. Cultural revolution.
He wasn't a nationalist, right? He was a cultural revolutionist where he wanted to upend all of their institutions and traditions.
Right, and he wanted to attack the Four Olds. By the way, the Great Leap Forward, Great Reap Forward, that was a really bad naming. You should have picked something else.
No. Great Reap Forward to get rid of Four Old.
I'm sorry, what?
Four Old.
Ord?
Great Reap.
Go.
I don't understand. Kill him. Run him over with tank.
So they wanted the old is old ideas, old cultures, old customs, and old habits.
And just to be clear, you can check the references. These are the actual words. These were considered institutions.
Absolutely.
It was a mission to get rid of these four olds. Old ideas, old culture, old customs, old habits.
Yeah, and clinging to guns and religion, right? Do away with gender.
No, this is what we're talking about here. You're reading my note that I just read.
Oh, yeah.
So in other words, he wants to do away with old institutions, wants to do away with old norms.
Like
and by
ours,
the way,
that's what
in
I was gonna
China,
say,
there is religion,
Yeah.
right? So, hey, I'm trying to think, is there any political wing today that wants to do away with American traditions, ideas, practices? I think
the left, maybe?
People have been beaten down so long, and they feel so betrayed by government.
So it's not surprising then that they get bitter and they cling to guns or religion or antipathy towards people who aren't like them, or a way to explain their frustrations.
Yeah, because in the United States, it's not like guns and religion have played a significant role in our history.
No.
That is the history. Leaving, well, taxation without representation, but we said, we don't want to do the Church of England thing, and we're going to make sure that we don't have to by using this bad boy.
Freedom of religion had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do
Say
with
hello to my musket.
And those who were considered intellectuals who had ties to the West in China, right, they were killed, they were persecuted. So again, dissidents. It was about 1.6 million people. So look, we still have the scoreboard here. Nationalism predicated on race, right, ethno-nationalism, bad, and also just doing away with everything that made your nation exist, like China, that's bad. I still am a nationalist here in the United States, and that I believe this is the greatest nation on the face of the earth. However, at this point, I don't know. Let's just, it's pretty bad. Let's call the score even on nationalism, right? As far as
they both get a point.
Okay, they both get a point.
Yeah.
2-1.
Points there.
All right, let's go to religion here really quickly, because this also matters when we're comparing Hitler versus Mao. A lot of people say, well, Hitler was a Christian. When they say that, you know they're stupid.
They don't know what...
Wasn't he partly Jewish?
That's
not
not
a
true.
rumor.
That was a
Is
rumor.
that not true?
Yeah, I know. I mean, he could have fooled a lot of people.
It fooled me until just now.
I mean, he walked in and people were like, oh, the accountant's here. I'm not accountant.
9 days.
I'm sorry, mein Führer.
I will do my own taxes.
I am a qualified CPA, but that is not my profession.
I'm
all right.
12.5%.
Sorry, we just, stereotypes. That's true. It's okay. And I did graduate with honors from law school, but I am not a lawyer.
Would you like me to paint you? I paint.
And I do have latkes in my lunchbox, but I'm not a Juden. All right.
I love bagels.
So Hitler was raised Catholic. This is where it comes from. All right. Now, he often did quote the Bible and Jesus in writings, but he practiced something known as positive Christianity. This was an attempt to blend his ethno-German nationalism with Christianity, just to be clear. The Nazi platform actually read, let me read this to you, quote, "The party as such stands for positive Christianity, but does not commit itself to any particular denomination. It combats the Jewish materialist spirit within and without us, and is convinced that our nation can achieve permanent health only from within on the basis of the principle, the common interest before self-interest." So whenever someone says, hey, when you have conservatives say that Hitler was a socialist, that's their platform. It's their name and it's their platform.
I dated a girl that had that tattooed on her back.
It was pretty tough to read. Yeah, you have to spend a lot of time back there.
No, but I mean, she believed it.
Yeah. Well, look, you know what? As long as she believes it.
Yeah, she changed her ways eventually.
It's her truth.
Now, here's the thing. Positive Christianity, which is what they use, you go like, wow, that just sounds nice. No, that's actually heresy, okay? And it resulted in what? Hitler trying to control churches. So Hitler used religion, even though he reviled religion. Just to be clear, the State Reich Church was established to unify 3 branches of Protestantism. They attempted to ban the use of the Old Testament, saying that it was, quote, too Jewish.
Well, they're the story.
I like the prophecies of the Christ, but it's a little too Jewy.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, because in Matthew 5 it says, and also kill all of the Jews.
Yes.
No,
I believe that's what it says. No? That's what you say.
Yeah,
hey, you know what? We have a shower there for you. Nice new fluffy towels.
I think you're
It is kind of hard to jump into book 2 and just ignore the first one, isn't it?
It's like Hitler was sitting there watching Godfather 2. What's happening?
I have no idea.
Home Alone 2. What, he's lost in his parents in Florida? He's in New York?
No, I don't believe the first part.
The second part, fantastic. I added some of my own, notes, though.
So this gives me some great ideas for execution. Oh, tool chest on the head. Who'd have thought? Yeah, there you go.
This is good.
Bricks.
Paint can down the stairs. Well, that's surefire. Yes. Now, Catholic priests were sent to concentration camps. Catholic newspapers were banned, and Hitler grew to hate Christianity.
It's better than youth
His
camp.
first biographer quoted him as saying, "The dogma of Christianity gets worn away before the advances of science. Gradually the myths crumble. When understanding of the universe has become widespread, then the Christian doctrine will be convicted of absurdity." So he hated Christendom. He used it, and then he tried to destroy it. Now, I don't think I'm revealing anything new to you with Mao. Obviously wanted to do away with not only religion, but any sort of belief in God, and that's because he replaced God with his own image. So this is what he wrote. This is actually what he said to the Dalai Lama, which is pretty bold when you think about it. He said, "Religion is poison. It has 2 great defects. It undermines the race and retards the progress of country. Tibet and Mongolia have been poisoned by it."
That son of a gun used the word retard.
I thought he was calling him a...
Also, Tibet and Mongolia have been poisoned by me.
Tibet a poison?
He then sent thousands of soldiers to loot Tibet. If you watch that shitty Brad Pitt film, you probably know about it. Okay.
Oh, that's what it's about.
Religion
Felt
was
like it was 7 years.
Although every time he shows up there in the Himalayas, I end up with marks on my knuckles from going.
Oh, I know.
So
I don't.
Can you go back to
I'm
Tibet,
not
please?
standing for at least an hour.
Religion in China was essentially replaced with the cult of Mao, or as Anita Dunn refers to him, her fave. So portraits of Mao were placed in schools, factories, offices. The study of Mao was compulsory. Ugh, that's just so gross. I want you to know. Well, why am I doing German now?
You get them confused, right?
No. I want you to know every inch of my body.
Same guy, really.
There were glorifying songs that were being played from street speakers. They had to be sung by school children. There were parades for Mao held twice a year in Tiananmen Square. So look, I guess this one, again, we're going to have to say is even when we're looking at who was the worst dictator. Okay, they both basically both did their best to outlaw faith. Why? Because, well, first off, not only is that how you institute a new form of what effectively becomes moral decay, right?
Yeah.
And you're required to be the messianic figure, but it also allows you to remove hope, and that's very important. Hey, socialism is a hopeless idea.
Yeah.
It's the idea that you can't make it on your own, and so you need everyone else to do it for you for the greater good. What could possibly go wrong with putting your fate in the hand of others? So when it comes to this, you know what? We're just going to call it an even score at this point.
Even.
So
Well, real quickly,
Mao has 3, Hitler has 2.
The singing of songs by school children. Does anybody remember when they were doing the songs about, was it Fauci and the vaccine or something that was going on there? I don't know. That sounded a little familiar. And by the way,
when he was running protesters over with his Power Wheels.
Yeah, exactly. And also making somebody into kind of this deity, this person who is beyond reproach that you can't question, and everything that they tell you to do. Like, are you guys seeing the comparison here at all? Like, it's not necessarily a Biden or somebody like that who's doing it, but it's Fauci.
It's a good point. The only difference is Mao was a better pitcher.
He was, yeah. He could actually hit home plate.
Yeah. So let's look at the actual deaths. This is a number that may surprise a lot of people. Look, both are bad. Again,
horribly bad.
Horribly bad. It's just, I feel like we always spend this time on Hitler, and we never spend time on Stalin, on Mao, on Pol Pot, on Mussolini.
Mussolini's kind of
Mussolini's a loser. We'll
Yeah,
save him
wasn't.
last.
He's the lightweight. He's the wild card.
I mean, yeah, he at best tried.
Right. He's in our brackets. Mussolini's just going to be there to pad someone's record.
Yeah, he's really
He's
not.
D2.
Yeah. Yeah. He's community college.
Yeah, he's not even farm
He's a
league.
JUCO champion. So Hitler, 12 million were killed total in concentration camps. A lot of people, they just quote the Jewish number, but there were far more people who were killed than just the Jews. And 30 million more were attributed, to basically
starvation, things like that.
Hillary's.
Killing.
Well,
Well, Freudian slip that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Bill and Hillary
To
Clinton
deaths.
traveled back in time and killed more people?
Now, Mao. Does anyone know the number? And I want you guys to comment before I give you the number, because I know you heard me give you one of the numbers earlier.
Right.
How many deaths? How many deaths at minimum
Let's say
under Mao?
Didn't stop at the 45.
Didn't stop at the 45. Minimum 40, top end 80.
Million people.
Minimum.
Thank you for
40.
clarifying million.
Just making sure.
80? You thought it was 80? More people get killed at a brawl at the Golden Corral.
Yeah, that's true. Several brawls at a Golden Corral.
Someone gets run over with a fruit cart.
Philadelphia Eagles games that have less people dead.
They have a jail under the field.
So
They do, I know.
So we've
It's
just gone
amazing.
through this, but do you guys see the compare? This is the problem: is when people try to. We did this a long time ago. I said, "Well, Hitler was a socialist," and all these liberals go, "Steven Crowder thinks Hitler was a socialist." Yeah, why? Because he said it. It was in the title.
I take him at his
and
word.
the platform.
Yeah.
And the policies.
Yeah,
I mean, everything about it was socialist. And then you look at Mao, and that's socialism. That's like jolt socialism. Twice the communism, twice the caffeine, where they just did it a little bit more. Everything was nationalized. But again, if you look at these ideas, these principles,
You're young, you drink it because you think it's cool.
yeah, well, that's what this was before energy drinks. They were in a famine. So what happens here is you have to look at the ideas and what they stem from. Okay, is Mao that far off from Hitler as far as what they want to do with the country, what their vision? Not necessarily, just as far as nationalism is really the only kind of differentiating factor as far as ethno-nationalism. Though if you look at what the Chinese and the Japanese thought, they all believed there was really kind of one superior Asian race, but that'll be for another day. this idea was always, look, you put your needs second. You put your self-interest second for the common good. And by the way, we're not requesting that. We're going to ensure that you do that by government power, by coercion. Look, we need all of you in big cities and urban areas so that we can make sure that we control you and we determine where you live, what businesses can open, what businesses can close, that we make sure we have control over not only the media, but the educational system. And people in the urban areas here, the elites, they're going to be in charge of what happens in the rural areas. They're going to tell them how to farm. They're going to tell them what they can farm. They are going to tell which people are allowed to farm. This is something that has been going on really, it's human nature, but communism and socialism just removed the reins and allowed the worst components of human nature to run free. And this is why anywhere it has been tried, ever, it's awful. And it's also why it's terrifying, just on a smaller scale. We do have checks and balances here in the United States. But you have 8 years of Obama, you have 4 years under Donald Trump, and now you have a couple of years under Joe Biden. Really, a year.
A year, just over.
Gosh, it feels so much longer. Yeah. Can you spot the differences? People said Donald Trump said bad things because he would say they were fake news. Did Donald Trump try and get anyone removed from the air? Think about that for a second. Do you really? I think it would be pretty hard for someone today to make a comparison, though they make it all the time, and say, yeah, you know what, Donald Trump or Ted Cruz or Ben Carson, dead ringer for Hitler. I think even in their alone time, we all have this when you're in your alone time and you're kind of reflecting on what you said, and hopefully you're giving an honest assessment of yourself. You say, am I wrong about this? Do I have a blind spot? If people like Jen Psaki's of the world, Joe Biden of the world, Kamala Harris's of the world, the Anita Dunn's of the world, people who all work together, they're in their alone time. They've got to say, okay, do I really think that these people are Hitler? No, I don't. Do I see a through line and similarities between Mao, who these people have praised, I've praised, and the policies of Marxism, Leninism, what we see throughout? Well, I even have Bernie Sanders in my party saying socialism isn't all that bad of a thing and breadlines are. Yeah, you know what? I'm not saying that they're Mao. I'm not saying that they're Stalin, but it certainly is more of an apt comparison than Donald Trump or any guy in this room to Hitler, regardless of the pigment of our skin. So you know what? Actually, looking at the scoreboard with the deaths, it's not even close. Mao, put one on the scoreboard for Mao. Mao wins. 4-2.
Wow.
And when he wins, you all lose. Or as Anita Dunn refers to it, win.
Fewer mouths to feed, though, so
win
less
weight.
unemployment.
Fewer mouths to feed, yeah. Especially when you count those damn sparrows.
Yeah.
Eating all the crops.
1 billion.
Get rid of sparrows. Locusts will take care of the rest. This has been the first chapter of The Great Dictator Off. Well, that graphic's wrong. Hitler didn't win.
Hitler lost. Well, everybody thought Hitler was going to win.
I think it was just they wanted the pun of final solution. Comment below, guys. Look, the best thing you can do for the YouTube algorithm, comment below. Who do you want to see next? We're thinking probably Stalin, but who would you like to see in this comparison? We'll probably do them once a week.
Yeah.
If you want to see them. If you don't, I know it can be a little bit nerdy. That's why we provide all of the references. But you know what? I think you just got more out of this than you would from 19 years of college. So we're actually now, smash that like button before we go.
Yeah.
Hit it. 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 There you go. We're going to go play Steven Knows Sports. YouTube, piss off.